Alright, so I'll admit I cracked. Don't know if it was for curiosity's sake or my own guilt over not taking a focused look at what an old man spent years making right up until he died. But I've read through some of this and tried to make sense of what it's supposed to be, and it's a trip. Muss Es Sein? It's the first page of this whole mess. Baby's first words, and they're in German. Of all things. The Navidson record comes next. And then, page 1. No table of contents or guide. We're going in blind too. Pages look nice. He actually had the first few pages printed. And the next page. And the next page. All the way up to where chapter 2 starts. It's clean except for the footnote pieces. Then, well, it's nice handwriting at least. There have been a lot of hands in this story. Sometimes you get print, sometimes the handwriting is nice, and some of this I'm going to need a magnifying glass just to read. Muss es sein? It's a question, but apparently it's only that way at the start. This is German for must it be, but later it turns into Es muss sein. And you can track it down in 2 places. First, Beethoven. This is in reference to his 16th string quartet, the last major thing he ever wrote. Eerie coincidence, considering where it's being introduced, but that's not the first time I've been weirded out. Beethoven called a movement in the piece the difficult decision. During the first half of the movement, when the music is slow, he writes, Muss es sein, asking, must it be? Then, while considering the difficult decision, the music speeds up and returns the answer. Es muss sein, it must be. It's almost like the old man was asking himself, just as he started writing, do I have to? Must it be? Turns out the answer was yes. He had to. It must be. An entire trunk's worth of I had to. Second reference. A novel called The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Kundera. One of the characters in the story, Thomas, is facing a difficult decision. He needs to choose whether or not to leave Zurich and follow his wife Teresa back to Prague, who left him in Zurich after he cheated on her, which is something he's done before in their marriage. He declares Es muss sein, it must be, saying his fate is to follow Teresa. The novel's mostly about infidelity and love triangles taking place during the Soviet invasion. Tomas is a surgeon, and his wife Teresa is a photojournalist who spends a lot of time away from him taking pictures on the front line of the conflict. At first, it seems like an odd choice of reference, and it could have just been a coincidence that Es muss sein lands here, but well, the old man is clever. I don't know what to make of most of this. The Kundera reference was real, but a lot of this is impossible to place or straight up false. Then when you wonder if Zampano just made up as much as he could, you find a reference that's legit. It's like hide and seek with the truth. It's almost as if the real sources are bait. It gives you an authentic piece of information, so you never investigate the rest. You just take it all, hook, line, and sinker. That, or maybe I'm just not well-read enough. But I'll tell you this. The whole manuscript about this documentary called the Navidson Record, it can't exist. I've never heard of it. The guy at the video store has never heard of it. The clerk at the movie theater has never heard of it. Tarantino has been tearing up the scene around here for 2 films in a row now. It's not like independent or under-the-radar stuff doesn't ever get noticed, especially when it makes an impact like Zampano claims it does. The Navidson record is a ghost story. Anyways, remember how I said the old man was clever, or just well-read? Here's the kind of thing I was talking about. Buckman is not alone in her opinion. Dale Cordigan also pointed out that Karen was anything but a loving housewife. Karen hardly gave up the promiscuous behavior that marked her early 20s. She only became more discreet. And there it is. Muss Es Sein. Es muss sein. Thomas and Teresa were a pair who had issues about a partner cheating in their relationship while the other was away. The person who was away, Teresa, was a photojournalist. And here we have Will Navidson, hotshot world-traveling photographer, trying to lock down a relationship with Karen, who apparently pulled a Thomas during the time Navy was away. Sorry if it feels like I'm all over the place or I took a detour, but it's always part of the road. I promise. Sometimes you just need to check something out on the side. And don't blame me for the choppy film work either. I'm no Will Navidson. This is far from professional. I'm mostly just entertaining myself while paying my dues to a ghost here anyway. I did the unthinkable and unwrapped the present. Don't know what's inside, but it could be anything at this point. Already committed all this sacrilege. So why not a little more? Gotta be kidding me. Who did he find with all the patience to do this for? Do you see this? You've gotta be kidding me. I was just reading some pages earlier telling me about the cameras put all over the house in the documentary. I can't believe they're here too. In miniature.